Welcome to Love and Balance, your go-to podcast for psychology-based, life-enriching information. I'm Brian DeJustin, a certified child, family, and relationship life coach. In each episode, I'll share psychology-supported tips, advice, and insights to help you grow personally, enhance your family life, and strengthen your relationships. Join me as we explore how to love yourself, love others, and live a balanced life. In this episode, we'll be talking about love in the 21st century and what it means for marriages and relationships in the future. Stay tuned. So I think we can all agree that the 21st century has its own difficulties and challenges in regards to love, marriage, connection, friendship, family. Everyone agrees that being in a relationship now is not the same thing as it was even 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Relationships have evolved and they change, and especially our notions about family, what a family is, what does family mean, what is a family responsible for. These things change over time. And what happens during these changes is that they challenge old ones. Our new conceptions of family challenge our old ones. But here's the question. What do we do if these changes aren't always good? What do we do when the changes that society and politics and law don't benefit us the way we believe them to? What do I mean by this? Since the 21st century began, we have lived in a state of fear. Before the year 2000 even started, we were already scared of it. It was like it was a prediction. It was like it was a prediction of what was to come. And after the 2000 bug hysteria, we of course got the crisis of 9/11. Of course, that changed society, how we live, our relationships with other countries, our international politics. Everything changed when that happened. In 2008, we got the economic crisis, which, of course, likewise changed how we trust institutions, how we trust politics, how we trust news. And after the 2008 crisis, we had everyone thinking that the world was going to end in 2012. And then after the 2012 crisis, a couple years later, we had the 2016 election. That no matter what side you're on, it augmented our sense of polarity and division. And after 2016, we 3 years later had the wonderful COVID-19 pandemic that very much conditioned us to be suspicious, cautious, careful of other people, even our family members. So far, the 21st century has really changed our definitions of what we consider safe. Even our relationships with people, we don't consider safe. Now we have the crisis of inflation that's happening currently right now in 2024. When difficult times surge, desperate measures follow. And especially in regards to dating and family life and family relationships, this obviously is implicated as well. Because relationships and family relationships have also been implicated. We are more careful of other people. We are more careful of letting people into our house. We're more careful about making sure that the doors are locked, that the windows are closed. We're more careful about who we confide in, who we trust, who we open up to, who we befriend. That is something that we are more cautious of than ever before. And this, of course, affects dating. Now, how does it affect dating and not only dating, but relationships, romantic relationships? How does it affect it? Well, it affects it in the sense that when people are in survival mode, as they are now, people do anything to get ahead. People will do anything and everything to make sure that they're okay. And this was especially true during the whole social distance crisis of COVID-19. It was everyone move out of the way. I only care about myself. We saw that with the toilet paper, with the Clorox wipes, with everything. Everyone was out for themselves. And I don't think that as a society, from a psychological and sociological standpoint, we have not reversed that conditioning that happened to us at that time. I do not believe that in the slightest. If anyone were to tell me that, I would challenge that a million times over. It was a collective trauma. COVID-19 was a collective trauma. And I do not believe that we have healed that as a society or as persons, not to mention that every single person has came out of the pandemic in their own unique way, or that each person experienced the pandemic in their own unique manner. Everyone during the pandemic was in a state of offense or defense. And I don't think that people have came out of that state of offense or defense since. I really don't. I really don't. Where does this state of offense or defense come from? It comes from past injuries. This mindset is what compels people to hurt others to get ahead. But then what happens? What happens is this cycle of pain and this cycle of distrust and this cycle of betrayal. Because usually what people who think like this do is they go after innocent, unknowing, naive, gullible people, trusting people. They go after them first. These people who have no pain, no suffering, no agony, no distrust, these people who were perfectly fine before they met them, now they just entered their lives. And what happens? They use them. So then this person who was at one point totally free of injury, confident, wonderful, perfect, very autonomous, this person that was at a high level of personal functioning, and this person that had no hurt and no darkness in them, just got hurt by the person who was hurt before. And now what happens? Now the person that was once innocent and naive is now embittered. And now that they're embittered, they're going to do the same thing to other people. They're going to do it to another person. And then this other person, of course, is again the same way they were: naive, loving, compassionate, altruistic, considerate, caring. And then they hurt them. And unintentionally or intentionally, but they do. And then again, that person becomes embittered even more. And then it's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of pain. And I truly, truly believe that this cycle of pain is what we're living in. Now, what does that have to do with deciding to get married? Because nowadays, people are so scared to open up that they're scared to date. People are scared to date. People are scared to trust their partner, even if they've known their partner for 5 years, 10 years, 7 years. I see in my personal life coaching that they are scared to be intimate. How? How can people be intimate? How can people be more inclined to trust when others are more inclined to betray? How does that work? I do not understand how that works. I don't. I mean, it's not a surprise that in 2022 there was one divorce for every 2 marriages. It's really not. It's really not. People live in so much fear now than ever before. So, how do we discern? How do we see who is right for us? Who is good for us? Who is a good person to be with? How can we decide who is a good person to marry? And when someone, and no, and then on top of that, when someone does want to get married, how do we know it's truly for love? How do we know that this person truly wants to be with us for us and for what we have to offer? So, again, in my article, The Decision to Marry, I talk about that. I talk about that as I will talk about here. Um, we can decide who our person is from the start. From the start, from the beginning stages of going out and getting to learn someone, you will learn if this person is right for you or not. This person has to have emotional maturity, which is the foundation of a stable marriage. It involves the ability to understand and manage your emotions and communicate them effectively and handle conflicts. You need to be an emotionally mature person in order to be able to talk to someone, to resolve a problem with someone, to understand someone, to be empathetic towards someone. You have to be emotionally mature. And so does your partner. Again, another thing, financial stability, which for everyone it's difficult now. Um, Financial stability, again, is another critical aspect of readiness for marriage. And again, I don't mean being rich or abundant in wealth, but rather, what I mean is understanding each other's financial habits, your debts, your goals, discussing your budgeting practice, spending habits, saving plans, being on the same page financially, having a life plan. This provides a solid foundation for your married life. Another thing also that helps too is, of course, having life goals that aligned. If your life goal for some reason is to live in a cottage in Italy and your partner's is to have a city life in Los Angeles, where are you guys headed? How are your goals going to be compatible when you both have opposite goals? No, there's no way. And again, these conversations, and I must stress them, they must be had as early as possible in a relationship. They must. If your goal is to have a married life with children and your partner does not want any children, and that's a 100% non-negotiable, where are you guys headed? The relationship isn't going anywhere then. So it all that's gonna happen is you're gonna reach up to that point where the kids are supposed to come in, and then you're gonna break up. The closer you get to that point where your guys are supposed to have kids in your mind, the closer you guys are to breaking up. At first, it's fine. Okay, that's so long. Okay, it's fine. We can deal with that later. But then when later comes, that's when the problems start popping up. Another thing too is also knowing if you and your partner have the same values. If, for example, your partner is Roman Catholic and you're Jewish, and there's, and their family has problems with you, and your family has problem with theirs, that's not gonna be the very that's not gonna be a very prudent relationship. If your spouse is Republican and you're a Democrat, and uh, your family can't stand your spouse, and your spouse can't stand, and your spouse's family can't stand you, that's not going to be a very loving, prosperous, healthy relationship either. And again, this is in the case that it's something very important, critical to you, critical to your well-being. If that's the case, there are people where this works. There are people, there's there's people who one partner is Catholic and the other one is atheist, or one person is a spiritualist and the other one is a Pentecostal. There are people that it does work. There are people that it does work out for. But again, this isn't mostly the case. Um, another thing too that is important to know when you are dating someone or you are in a relationship with someone and you're considering marriage is whether or not this person helps you and increases you and helps you achieve your goals and values your goals. Remember, love is only good when it elevates you, not when it brings you down. So if you're in a relationship with someone and you are giving and giving and giving and you are supporting them, you are supporting their dreams, you're supporting their ambitions, you're supporting what they do, what they want to do in life. Maybe they want to open up their little business and you're supporting their business, meanwhile your finances are suffering while you're doing that. That's obviously a very bad indicator of a vampiric relationship. It's not sacrifice, it's vampirism. It's one-sided benefit. When it's one-sided benefit, it's not sacrifice. It's a vampiric relationship. So rather than both people sacrificing pieces of themselves for the betterment of the whole, one person is sacrificing themselves while the other one is benefiting. Again, that's not a loving relationship. A good, strong married couple is a couple who mutually enrich themselves and support themselves and treat their goals like their own. Another thing that's important when you want to get married to someone is the ability to trust them. Do you trust this partner? Do you trust this person? Can you tie, a blindfold around your eyes and walk and trust that they will tell you when to stop or when to turn left or when to turn right? You have to trust this person blindly. If you don't, what makes you think that you're going to be comfortable sharing a bank account with them? Another thing too is the ability to forgive and understand. Betrayal is part of all relationships. And when I mean betrayal, I don't necessarily mean sexual infidelity. I mean betrayal of any kind. Our partners aren't 100% perfect people. We aren't either. When we're in a relationship with someone, they're not perfect and we're not perfect. We all have weaknesses. We all have blind spots. But part of being in a relationship is the lifelong journey of getting to know those blind spots and getting to know who this person is, what is inside their heart, who are they really? Can I love their true inner self as they love me, irrevocably, wholeheartedly, without any discrimination? Can I love them for who they are? And can they love me for who I am? And forgiveness is a very, very big part of this. It's important that we understand the psychological impact of fear in relationships. Fear, as mentioned before, impacts relationships in awful ways. Awful ways. Now, fear is normal, because if you don't care about something, you're not scared for it. So it's normal. And when we enter adult relationships, we don't enter without any stains or any marks or any scars or any emotional wounds. No, we have those. Everyone has a story. And in every story, there's always high points and low points. Now, unfortunately, these low points, the ones that I'm speaking about, have ramifications that always affect the people who usually have nothing to do with the reason why they're there in the first place. And this involves trust issues, paranoia, being controlling, being insecure, defensiveness, distrusting, withdrawing emotionally, jealousy, which I wrote an article about too, jealousy and its discontents. I I always, all of these behaviors that I just mentioned are projections of past experience onto the present. They're ways that the person is trying to avoid feeling what they felt before. A lot of times, what I've seen in my personal cases are cases of um, very jealous, controlling men who uh, watch their partner's phone. They check their partner's phone. Again, women can do this too. It's not always men. I'm just saying it because it's usually what I see the most. Um, these men will um, check their partner's phone, see who they're talking. They can't have any male friends. It doesn't matter who they are. I mean, the male friend can literally be a priest, and these men will not let their partners talk to them. It does not matter. I mean, God forbid these women go to confession. They are not allowed to talk to men. Now, why is that? Usually, what happens and what I 99% of the time see is that these men were hurt in the past and they never got over that. They never got over their pain. And they saw how their own fathers were with their mothers. And usually their fathers were the controlling ones. Their fathers were, the ones that really laid the groundwork down for the house. And a lot of the time their fathers were usually abusive to their mothers as well, but they were very harsh fathers as well. So when they grow up and they confront these hurtful events, they say to themselves, okay, well, being nice didn't work, but look, it worked. Being mean worked for my dad. Look how my dad was with my mom, and I never saw my mom fail my dad. My mom was always there for him. So if I want someone to be like my mom and love me the way my mom loved me, I need to be like my dad. And that again is the cycle of pain that I talk about. That's the cycle of pain. Hurt people hurting unhurt people who then later hurt other unhurt people. It's sad, but it's a cycle, and it's a cycle that has to break. But again, it's really hard for these people to learn how to be any other different way because these things are so deeply embedded and ingrained in them that they can't. They can't. So again, creating a sanctuary, a place of love, stability, resilience, togetherness, it's the key to making sure that people don't feel this way. It's making sure that our partners can be their true selves without fear of judgment or rejection. That's what everyone wants to feel: accepted, loved, appreciated for who they are, feeling like they're loved perfectly 100% for who they are, that they don't have to fake being anything else besides themselves. That is truly at the heart what people want to feel from another person. And when two people can create that within themselves, they create a sanctuary of love, a safe haven where both people feel valued and protected. So, regularly affirming your love through words and actions really reinforces the emotional connection. And even simple gestures of affection, acts of kindness, expressions of gratitude, all that also maintains passion as well. And it also always maintains that the love always is bright and powerful. Always remember that love and trust are the pillars of a fulfilling relationship and a fulfilling marriage as well. By seeing your partner consistently and actively provide these feelings and these gestures and these behaviors to you and you to them, that is how you know if your partner is right for you. So remember, people always say, oh, actions speak louder than words, but actions can only last for a while if they're fake. You have to determine and you have to observe this person and see how long do they act this way. Do they act this way for a while? Do they act this way after a break? Do they act this way when they want to ask you for a favor? Do they act this way only when you buy them presents, when you do things for them? Or do they do this consistently, even when times are tough, even when if times are bad? Do they always maintain open and honest communication with you? That is the key. Not actions, not words, but consistency. Seeing if this person is consistent in their behavior, consistent in their actions, consistent in their words. Do they do this for a long time? Do they do this irrevocably, immutably? Are they always making sure that I feel loved, not just when it's convenient for them? So, in an uncertain world of fear and of paranoia and of mistrust, authentic love does truly provide us with a sense of safety, of reassurance, and of comfort, which enables you and your partner to thrive together. So if you like this episode, I would highly appreciate it if you subscribed to my podcast or to my YouTube channel. If you would like to learn more about the subject on love in the 21st century and the decision to get married, please refer to my article, The Decision to Marry, on my website, www.brianthejustincoaching.com. You could also click the link in the bio to go directly to the article mentioned. And if you would like to book a month of free coaching with me, feel free to go down to the link in the bio to schedule a session with me. Thank you. Blessings.